Hello, I'm librarian Josh Cohen. Welcome to this brief presentation on how to research and write an annotated bibliography. It's my hope that this video will help you prepare for your annotated bibliography assignment in Communications 180. But if you have any questions after this video ends, or if you need any additional help, please feel free to reach out to me or another librarian. So let's start by talking about what an annotated bibliography is. Some of you might already be familiar with annotated bibliographies, but for many of you, I suspect you might not be entirely sure. Let's start by discussing bibliographies. You are likely somewhat familiar with a regular bibliography that is not annotated. A bibliography is a list of resources on a specific topic. Scholars include a bibliography at the end of a research article or a scholarly book that includes citations for all the research they've consulted. You might have created a bibliography or a reference list of citations of research that you consulted for a paper you wrote. This is the beginning of a bibliography for a paper that I wrote on the poet T.S. Eliot many years ago. A bibliography can simply be a collection of consulted research on a specific topic, or it can be a list of recommended resources on a topic. This is particularly the case with a bibliography you might find in a reference resource like a scholarly encyclopedia. Here's the bibliography at the end of an encyclopedia article on Martin Luther King Jr. from the Encyclopedia of American Studies. The scholar who wrote the article listed these book resources on Martin Luther King Jr. as recommended scholarly books on King's life and work. If I was beginning my research on the topic of Martin Luther King Jr., I might first consult a bibliography like this one of recommended resources from an expert. So then, what is an annotated bibliography? Well, here's how an annotated bibliography differs from a regular bibliography. An annotated bibliography adds annotation to each bibliographic entry. The annotation portion typically includes a short paragraph with a brief summary and some evaluation of the resource and its usefulness. The additional information makes an annotated bibliography more helpful for readers in determining which resources in the bibliography will be most relevant to their research needs. It might be helpful when writing your annotations to think of some questions you might or might not address. For the overview of the resource, you might ask yourself questions like, what is the central argument of the resource? How was the study conducted? What were the conclusions? And when evaluating the resource, you might ask yourself questions like, how might a researcher on your topic find this resource helpful? Are there any shortcomings with the resource? In what way might this research be significant to your topic of study? Are the claims in the work backed up with quality research? Is there anything notable about the author or authors and their expertise? Because your annotations will only be around 150 words, you might not be able to address all of these questions, but they're here just to help you think about some points to consider. Here is a sample annotated citation that I could possibly use if I was creating an annotated bibliography on the topic of racism in media representations of black female athletes. I found an article that focuses on the tennis player Serena Williams. As you can see, I start with a citation, here in the APA style. Then I offer a short annotation. In this annotation, I briefly analyze the article and its relevance or usefulness for my chosen topic area. You can see that I point out a shortcoming of the article at the beginning of my annotation by noting that the article does not focus exclusively on the media. However, I still find enough media analysis in the article on my chosen topic to make it useful. I'm writing my annotation as if it is going to be read by other scholars researching this topic. I also include a brief overview of the contents of the author's article that specifically relates to my annotated bibliography's focus. Not sure which databases to use for this project? Here are some suggestions. From the library website, click on Databases and Articles to go to our Databases A to Z page, which lists all of our databases in alphabetical order. Most of you have already used Academic Search Ultimate in your first year seminar, This database is the first one listed alphabetically, and it might be useful particularly if your topic is interdisciplinary. It can also be a good database to start with, but if your project is focused on a particular discipline, this database might not be the best choice. If you are focused on communications and analysis of mass media, you might try using Communication Source. This database is also owned by EBSCOhost, so it will look pretty much the same as Academic Search Ultimate, but it will actually focus in on only academic journals in the communication field. If this is where you're focusing your bibliographic research, using a subject database like this one will probably be the most efficient use of your time and should yield the most helpful results. Another subject database that you might consider is SocIndex. For my topic on media representations of black women in sports, I initially thought Communication Source would be the best database, but SocIndex actually yielded much better results. SocIndex is a database for the field of sociology. Sociologists study issues and problems in society at large, including racism and sexism. Some additional subject databases that you might consider include Sport Discuss and Business Source Complete. Sport Discuss focuses on articles in sports sciences and physical education, and there will be some journals related to sports and the media. Business Source Complete is a business subject database, and if you're interested in sports from a business perspective, then this might be the database you want to focus on. If you need any help as you put together your annotated bibliography, or if you have any questions about this video, please feel free to reach out to me. You can see my email address there. Or you can stop by the reference desk and chat with a librarian during our reference desk hours, Monday through Friday, and I have those also posted in this slide. I'll end this video with my own bibliography for the articles that I referenced in this video. Best of luck with your projects.